My son's voice went quiet on the phone, like someone had turned off the whole world. For a second, I thought the call had dropped. Then he whispered, "Mom, what did you just say?" I smiled, holding the phone with one hand and wiping chocolate from the corner of my granddaughter's mouth with the other. "Oh," I said, calm and happy. "I gave the chocolates to your wife and the kids. They love sweets." He did not answer, not a cough, not a breath, just a long, heavy silence that felt wrong. Then he screamed, "You did what?" His voice trembled so hard it sounded like he might cry or break something. My stomach sank. I stared at the empty chocolate box on the table, the ribbon still curled like a little snake. My grandson giggled, unaware. My daughter-in-law froze with a chocolate halfway to her mouth. "Mom," my son said again, slower now, like each word hurt him. "Those chocolates were not just chocolates." "What do you mean?" I asked, and my mouth went dry. His breathing became sharp, then it stopped for a moment, like he was trying not to panic. "Tell me," he said, almost begging now, "how many did they eat?" Before I could answer, my daughter-in-law made a strange sound, like a gasp and a choke together. She held her throat. Her eyes went wide. The chocolate in her hand fell to the floor. I stood up so fast my chair scraped the tiles. "Mary," I called her name. "Mary, are you okay?" She tried to speak, but no words came out. My son's voice shot through the phone again, loud and shaking. "Mom, listen to me. Do not let them eat another bite. Do you hear me? Not one more bite." My heart started beating too fast. "Why?" I shouted. "What is happening?" He sounded like he was running, like he was moving fast and breathing hard again. "Because," he said, and his voice cracked, "I think those chocolates were meant for you." Then the line went quiet, and I heard something on his end that made my blood turn cold. A sound like a crash. And then my son's phone went dead. That was the moment I knew this was not a small family problem anymore. This was something bigger, something dangerous, something hidden. And it started with a birthday gift. Now let me take you back to the beginning, before the scream, before the silence, before the chocolates changed everything. I am Grandma Ruth. I am 68 years old. I have soft gray hair, 2 old knees that complain when it rains, and hands that have worked hard my whole life. I live in a small house with a little garden in front. I like morning tea. I like gospel music low in the background. I like peace. But peace does not always like me. My son's name is Daniel. He is my only child. When he was a boy, he used to run into the house with scraped knees and bright eyes. He would shout, "Mama, I'm fine," even when blood was dripping down his leg. He was always like that, brave, loud, full of fire. Then he grew up. He became a man. He got a job in the city. He married a woman named Mary. They had 2 children, Olivia and Noah. My grandchildren were the joy of my life. When they came to visit, the house felt alive. When they left, the house felt too quiet, like the walls missed them. At first, I was happy for Daniel. I truly was. Mary seemed polite. She smiled. She called me Ma. She brought small gifts on holidays. She laughed at my jokes even when they were not funny. But after the wedding, something changed. Not in one big way, in small ways, quiet ways. Daniel started calling less. When I called, he sounded tired. When I asked to see the kids, there was always a reason why they were busy. School, work, traffic, a headache, another plan, another day. Sometimes, Mary answered the phone, and her voice sounded sweet, but her words felt like a door closing. "Ma, Daniel is sleeping," she would say. "He worked late." Or, "Ma, the kids are not feeling well. Maybe next weekend." I tried not to think too much. I told myself families get busy. Life moves fast. Young couples have stress. I told myself I was just lonely. But there were days when my heart felt heavy for no clear reason. And then my birthday came. My birthday has always been simple. I do not like big parties. I like a small cake, 1 or 2 visitors, and maybe a phone call that lasts more than 2 minutes. A happy birthday, Mama, that sounds real, not rushed. This year, I told myself I would not expect too much. Daniel had been distant. Mary had been colder. I did not want to be disappointed. On the morning of my birthday, I woke up early and sat on the edge of my bed for a moment. The house was quiet. The sun was coming in through the curtain, soft and warm. I said a short prayer and thanked God for life, for health, for another year. Then I made tea. When I sat at the table, I stared at my phone. I did not want to stare, but I did. I hoped for a call. I hoped for a message. Hours passed. At 10 in the morning, I got a text from my church friend, Mrs. Allen. "Happy birthday, Ruth. God bless you." I smiled. That warmed me a little. At noon, I got a call from my cousin. At 2, another message from another friend. But from Daniel, nothing. I told myself, he will remember, he will call later. At around 4 in the afternoon, there was a knock at my door. A knock that sounded firm and quick, like someone was in a hurry. I opened the door and saw a delivery man holding a small box with a neat ribbon. He looked down at a paper. "Mrs. Ruth Carter?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He handed me the box and asked me to sign. When I closed the door, I held the box like it was something fragile. The ribbon was a deep red. The box was cream-colored. It looked expensive, like something from a fancy store. My name was writ on a card in clean, neat handwriting. I opened the card and read. "Happy birthday, Mom. I love you. Enjoy these. Call me when you get them. Daniel." My heart softened right away. That one small note felt like sunlight after a cloudy day. I sat down at the table and stared at the box for a long moment. It smelled faintly sweet even before I opened it. I could not help but smile. "Maybe I was wrong," I whispered to myself. "Maybe he still cares like he used to." I opened the box carefully. Inside were chocolates, handmade, beautiful. Each one looked like a tiny piece of art. Some were shaped like hearts. Some had little designs on top. Some had small gold lines, some had nuts. Some had dried fruit pieces. They looked like something you would not even want to eat because they were too pretty. My eyes widened. "Daniel did all this?" I asked out loud, even though I was alone. I knew my son. He was not the type to pick gifts like this. He was more of a send money and call it a day kind of man. But this gift felt personal, thoughtful, careful. I felt proud. I felt loved. I wanted to call him right away, but the note said, "Call me when you get them." I decided to wait a little so I could sound calm, not too excited. I did not want him to think I was starving for attention. So I made dinner for myself. I warmed some soup. I ate slowly. Then I took one chocolate. It was dark chocolate with a tiny swirl on top. I held it close to my nose and smelled it. Sweet, rich, strong. I broke a small piece and tasted it. It was smooth and creamy. The taste was deep and warm. I closed my eyes for a second. "Oh my," I said, smiling. "This is good." Then I put the box back in the fridge because I did not want it to melt. I told myself I would eat another one the next day. That night, Daniel finally called around 9. "Mama," he said. "Daniel," I replied quickly. "Happy you remembered." He laughed softly, but something in his laugh sounded tight, like he was forcing it. "Of course I remembered," he said. "Did you get the gift?" "Yes," I said, and my smile returned. "Thank you, it was beautiful." He paused, just a little pause. "You opened it?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "I read your note. Thank you, my son." Another pause. "And?" he asked. "And what?" I chuckled. "The chocolates are very fine." "They're fine," he repeated slowly. "Yes," I said. "They are very fine. You really tried. I'm proud of you." I expected him to sound happy, to say, "I'm glad you like them," to laugh, to tease me. But instead, he said something strange. "Mom," he said, "please keep them safe." "Safe," I repeated. "Daniel, it's chocolate." "I know," he said quickly. "Just keep them safe, okay?" I frowned. "What are you talking about?" He sighed like he was tired. "Nothing. I'm just saying don't leave them out." "All right," I said. "I put them in the fridge." "Good," he said, too fast, like he was relieved. I did not understand, but I did not push. Sometimes adults say odd things. Maybe he worried about the heat. Maybe he worried about ants. Before he hung up, he said, "Mom, don't share them yet, okay? Not until I talk to you again." I laughed a little. "Daniel, are you now controlling my birthday gift?" He did not laugh back. "Just promise me," he said. That made my smile fade. "Okay," I said slowly. "I promise." "Good," he answered, and then he ended the call quickly. I sat there, staring at my phone. Something about that call did not feel right. Daniel sounded like he had something on his mind, like he was scared, like he was hiding something. But I told myself not to overthink it. The next day, Mary and the kids came to visit. They arrived around noon, carrying small bags and a happy face that felt a little too shiny to be real. "Happy birthday again, Ma," Mary said, smiling wide. "Happy birthday, Grandma," Olivia shouted, running into my arms. Noah followed, already asking for snacks. I was happy to see them. I truly was. My house woke up again with their voices. Mary walked around my living room like she was checking things. She looked at my framed photos. She looked at my bookshelf. She looked at the little glass jar where I kept coins. It was not rude exactly, but it was the kind of looking that made me feel watched. I tried to ignore it. I served them rice and chicken. The kids ate fast. Mary ate slowly, scrolling on her phone in between bites. Then Olivia said, "Grandma, do you have sweets?" I smiled. "Not much, my dear." "No sweets at all?" she asked, eyes wide. Noah pouted. "I want candy." Mary lifted her head. "Ma, do you have anything small for them? They've been good today." I thought about the chocolate box in the fridge. Daniel's words came back to me. "Don't share them yet. Just promise me." I hesitated. But I looked at the kids' faces. They were excited. They were smiling. They had come to celebrate me. I did not want to be the grandma who says no to small joys. And honestly, it was chocolate. Not medicine, not money, not something dangerous. It was a birthday gift. Sharing is kindness. Sharing is love. So I stood up and said, "Wait, I have something special." I went to the fridge and pulled out the box. The kids gasped like I had pulled out treasure. "Wow," Olivia said. Mary's eyes sharpened. "What is that?" "My son sent it for my birthday," I said proudly. Mary's smile became thinner. "Daniel sent that." "Yes," I said. "Handmade chocolates." Olivia reached for one right away. I opened the box and said, "Okay, one each. Not too much." Mary took one too, quickly, before I could even offer. I should have noticed how fast she grabbed it, how her fingers did not hesitate, how her eyes flicked to the card inside the box like she wanted to read it. But I was busy smiling at the children. They ate. They loved it. "MMM," Noah said with chocolate on his lips. Olivia clapped her hands. "Best chocolate ever." Mary chewed slowly, her face careful, like she was listening to the taste. I felt warm inside. I felt like a real family again, at least for a moment. Then, after they left that evening, Daniel called. "And you already know what happened next?" He asked, "So how were the chocolates?" I smiled and told him I gave them to his wife and the kids. He went silent. Then he screamed. Now, after the call dropped, after Mary's throat tightened, after the chocolate fell from her hand, I stood in my living room shaking, staring at my grandchildren. They were still sitting on the couch. Olivia was licking her fingers. Noah was rubbing his belly, smiling like nothing was wrong. Mary was on her knees now, coughing, eyes wide, one hand gripping the edge of the coffee table like she was trying to stay in this world. And I had no idea if my son was in trouble, if my family was in danger, or if I had just made the biggest mistake of my life. Because at that moment, one thought hit me like a slap. What if Daniel was right? What if those chocolates were never meant to be shared? And if so, who in the world would send a grandma a birthday gift like that? I grabbed my phone with trembling hands and dialed emergency services. But before the call could connect, Noah suddenly slid off the couch, held his stomach and whispered, "Grandma, my tummy hurts." Then he fell to the floor. Noah's small body hit the floor with a soft, terrible sound that did not match the fear rushing through my chest. One moment he was standing, rubbing his stomach and looking confused. The next moment he was on the tiles, still, his eyes half open, his lips slightly blue. "Jesus, help me," I whispered, dropping the phone and falling to my knees beside him. "Mommy," Olivia cried, her voice sharp and high. "Noah is sleeping on the floor." Mary tried to move toward him, but her legs gave way. She collapsed against the couch, coughing again, one hand pressed hard against her chest now. Her face had lost all color. Sweat shone on her forehead like oil. I touched Noah's cheek. It was warm, but his breathing was strange. Too shallow, too fast, like a little bird trapped in a box. "Stay with Grandma," I begged softly, brushing his hair back. "Please, my baby, stay with me." My heart pounded so hard, I could hear it in my ears. I grabbed my phone from the floor with shaking hands and dialed emergency services again. This time, I did not let go. "Emergency," the voice said. "My grandson collapsed," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "My daughter-in-law is having trouble breathing. Please help us." The woman on the line asked questions quickly. Address, ages, symptoms. I answered as best as I could while watching Mary slide down further, her back against the couch, her eyes blinking slowly like she was fighting sleep. Olivia stood frozen near the wall, her hands over her mouth, tears running down her face without sound. "Sweetheart," I said gently but firmly, "come here, sit down, breathe slowly. Grandma is here." She shook her head. "Is Noah dying?" That question cut me deeper than anything else. "No," I said fast, too fast. "No, my dear, he is just sick. Help is coming." But I was not sure if I was telling her the truth or trying to keep myself from breaking. The operator told me to check Noah's breathing again. I leaned close. His chest was moving, but unevenly. "He's breathing," I said, "but it's not normal." "Okay," she replied. "Help is on the way. Stay calm. Do not give them anything to eat or drink." I thought of the chocolates. A cold wave moved through me. "Mary," I said, crawling over to her. "Mary, look at me. Can you breathe?" She nodded weakly, then shook her head, confused. Tears slipped from the corners of her eyes. She tried to speak, but only a dry sound came out. I held her hand. It felt clammy and cold. "It will be okay," I said, though my voice shook. "Just breathe slowly. Help is coming." Minutes felt like hours. In that terrible waiting, my mind would not stop. It ran in circles, replaying everything. The box, the ribbon, Daniel's strange warning, his scream on the phone, his words. Those chocolates were not just chocolates. What did you do with them? How many did they eat? My stomach twisted. What kind of mother gives her family something dangerous? What kind of son sends something dangerous to his own mother? The sirens finally broke through the quiet street. Red and blue lights flashed through my window, painting the walls in strange colors. I rushed to the door, waving like a madwoman. "They're here," I called back into the house. Two paramedics came in fast, calm faces, quick hands. They knelt by Noah, checked his pulse, his eyes, his breathing. Another went to Mary, placing a mask over her face and asking her to focus on breathing. "What happened?" one of them asked. We ate chocolate," I said, feeling foolish even saying it out loud. "My son sent it for my birthday." The paramedic paused and looked at me sharply. "What kind of chocolate?" "I don't know," I said. "Handmade, fancy." "How long ago did they eat it?" "About an hour," I replied. They exchanged a look that made my knees weak. They lifted Noah carefully onto a stretcher. He groaned softly but did not wake up. Mary was helped up too, her legs barely holding her. "Are they going to be okay?" I asked, my voice breaking now. "We're taking them to the hospital," one paramedic said. "We'll do everything we can." Olivia ran to me, clutching my skirt. "Grandma, come with us," she cried. I knelt and hugged her tight. "I'll come," I promised. "I won't leave you." As we moved toward the ambulance, my phone vibrated in my pocket. Daniel. I almost dropped it. I answered quickly. Daniel, where are you? What is happening? His voice came out low and broken. Mom, I crashed. I'm okay, I think. But listen to me. Mary and the kids are going to the hospital, I said, tears finally falling freely. Noah collapsed. Mary couldn't breathe. He made a sound like someone punched him. Oh God, he whispered. I was afraid of this. Afraid of what? I demanded. Daniel, what did you send me? There was noise around him, voices. Sirens. He sounded far away and close at the same time. Mom, he said, I need you to listen very carefully. I am listening, I said. Those chocolates, he said slowly, they were part of a mistake, a terrible mistake. My heart sank. What kind of mistake? I asked. He swallowed hard. I work with a man who makes custom chocolates, very expensive ones. People order them for special reasons. Special reasons, I repeated. Yes, he said. Health reasons, allergies, diets, medical conditions. I remembered how Mary always avoided certain foods, how she once said nuts made her throat itch, how she read labels carefully. Daniel continued, I ordered a special box, one that was supposed to be safe for you. No nuts, no triggers, nothing harmful. Then why? I started. Because, he interrupted, his voice cracking again, there was a mix-up. The world seemed to tilt. What kind of mix-up? I whispered. There was another order, he said, for someone else, someone with a very different situation. My hands trembled so badly, I had to lean against the ambulance. Daniel, I said, you are not making sense. He took a deep breath. The other box, he said, contained chocolates with ingredients that can be dangerous to certain people. My chest tightened. Dangerous how? I asked. He hesitated. Daniel, I shouted, my grandson is unconscious. They can cause severe reactions, he said. Breathing problems, collapse. I closed my eyes. So you sent me the wrong box, I said flatly. Yes, he whispered. I realized it too late. And you didn't tell me, I asked, anger rising through my fear. I tried, he said quickly. I was going to come over. I called to warn you not to share them. I told you to keep them safe. I remembered his words. Don't share them yet. Just promise me. I felt sick. Why didn't you just tell me the truth? I asked. Why didn't you say they were dangerous? Because, he said, his voice full of shame, I was afraid. Afraid you would panic. Afraid Mary would hear. Afraid of what it would mean. Mean what? I asked. There was another pause. Mom, he said, the other box was ordered for someone who wanted to hurt someone else. The words did not make sense at first. Hurt someone, I repeated. Yes, he said. Not to kill, but to make them very sick. It was wrong. I didn't know that at first. My head spun. You're saying, I said slowly, that these chocolates were meant to hurt someone. Yes, he said, and I accidentally sent them to you. I could not speak. We arrived at the hospital. Doctors and nurses rushed Mary and Noah inside. Olivia clung to my hand, sobbing quietly now. I'm here, I told her again and again. I'm here. Daniel's voice came back through the phone, softer now. Mom, he said, I never meant for this to happen, I swear. I know, I said, though part of me was not sure. But right now, your wife and children are fighting to breathe. There was silence on the line, heavy and full. They're taking them in, I said, watching the doors close behind the stretchers. You need to get here. I'm on my way, he said, as soon as I can. Hours passed in the waiting room. Olivia fell asleep against my shoulder, her face wet with dried tears. I stroked her hair slowly, counting each breath she took, like it was the only thing keeping me alive. Doctors came and went. Nurses asked questions, blood tests, oxygen monitoring. Finally, a doctor came toward me. Mrs. Carter, he asked. Yes, I said, standing up quickly. Your daughter-in-law is stable, he said. She had a severe allergic reaction. We've managed it. My knees almost gave out with relief. "And my grandson?" I asked. He hesitated just a little too long. "He's still unconscious," the doctor said. "We're running more tests." My heart dropped again. "Will he wake up?" I asked. "We hope so," he replied honestly. Hope. That small word was all I had left. As the night grew darker, my phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. I opened it with trembling fingers. It read, "I think you have something that was never meant for you. We need to talk." My breath caught in my throat. I looked around the quiet hospital waiting room, at my sleeping granddaughter, at the doors leading to my grandson. And in that moment, I realized something terrible. This story was not just about a family mistake. Someone else was involved. Someone who wanted those chocolates back. And I had no idea how far they were willing to go to get them. I stared at the message again and again, hoping the words would change. "I think you have something that was never meant for you. We need to talk." My hands felt numb. The hospital lights above me hummed softly, too calm for what was happening inside my chest. Olivia shifted in her sleep, her small fingers still wrapped around my sleeve like she was afraid I might disappear. I did not reply. Not yet. I slipped my phone into my bag and stood up slowly, walking toward the hallway where Noah had been taken. A nurse stopped me gently. "I'm sorry, ma'am," she said. "You can't go in yet." "I just want to see him," I whispered. "He's being monitored," she replied kindly. "As soon as the doctor clears it, we'll let you know." I nodded and returned to my seat, but my mind would not rest. Who sent that message? How did they get my number? And what exactly did they think I had? The chocolate box. My heart skipped. I remembered the empty box still sitting on my table at home, the ribbon curled, the card inside. But not all the chocolates were eaten. Some were still there. I had closed the lid and put the box back in the fridge when the kids finished eating. I swallowed hard. If those chocolates were dangerous, why would someone want them back? Unless they were not just dangerous. Unless they were important. My phone vibrated again. This time, it was Daniel. "Mom," he said quietly when I answered, "I'm outside the hospital." I rushed to the entrance and saw him packing back and forth, his shirt wrinkled, his face pale. When he saw me, he stopped like his legs forgot how to move. We stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. Then he broke. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice cracking. "This is my fault, all of it." I pulled him into a hug. He felt thinner than I remembered, tired, heavy with guilt. "Right now," I said firmly, "we focus on your children." He nodded, wiping his face. "How is Noah?" "He's still unconscious," I replied. "The doctor said they hope he will wake up." Daniel pressed his hands together and bowed his head. "I should never have brought those chocolates home," he said. "I should have checked. I should have thrown them away the moment I realized." "Tell me everything," I said. "No more half-truths." He took a deep breath. "The man who makes the chocolates," he began. "His name is Victor. He runs a private business, very secretive, rich clients, special requests." "Like poisoning someone?" I asked bluntly. Daniel flinched. "I didn't know that at first. I thought it was about allergies, about testing reactions, I swear." "But now you know," I said. "Yes," he admitted. "Victor told me later, too late." I felt anger rise in me, slow and hot. "And you still didn't warn me clearly," I said. "I panicked," he said. "I thought if I could control the situation, no one would get hurt." I shook my head. "You cannot control danger by hiding it." He nodded, tears in his eyes. "I see that now." Just then, my phone vibrated again. The unknown number. This time, it was a call. Daniel saw my face change. "What is it?" "Someone wants the chocolates," I said quietly. His eyes widened. "What?" "They sent a message," I continued. "They said I have something that was never meant for me." Daniel ran a hand through his hair. "Victor," he said immediately. Are you sure? I asked. Yes, he replied. He warned me. He said if the box went missing, there would be consequences. My stomach tightened. What kind of consequences? Daniel did not answer right away. That bad? I asked. He nodded. The phone vibrated again. The call kept ringing. I answered before fear could stop me. Hello, I said. A man's voice came through, calm and smooth. Mrs. Carter, he said. Thank you for finally answering. Who are you? I asked. You can call me Victor, he replied. And before you ask, yes, I know where you are. My heart skipped. That's not possible, I said. He chuckled softly. Hospitals are public places, Grandma Ruth. Daniel's face turned white. You hurt my family, I said, my voice shaking with anger now. My grandson is unconscious. That was not my intention, Victor replied calmly. The box was never meant to be shared. You shouldn't have made it at all, I snapped. Morals are a luxury, he said. Business is business. I clenched my jaw. Why are you calling me? Because, he said, you have something that belongs to me. I don't want anything from you, I said, and you're not getting anything from me. He sighed. You don't understand. Those chocolates are special. Special how? I asked. There was a pause. They are evidence, he said slowly. Daniel sucked in a sharp breath. Evidence of what? I asked. Of crimes that powerful people do not want exposed, Victor replied. My legs felt weak. I leaned against the wall. You used chocolate to hide evidence, I asked, disbelief filling my voice. Yes, he said simply, and now that evidence is sitting in your house. I thought of the fridge, the box. You're lying, I said. Check the chocolates that remain, Victor said. Some of them are hollow, some contain more than filling. My chest felt tight. What do you want? I asked. I want them back, he replied. Tonight. And if I do? I asked. His voice hardened just a little. Then more people will get hurt, he said, and next time it won't be an accident. Daniel grabbed my arm. Mom, hang up. I did not. You already hurt children, I said. You think I'm afraid of you. You should be, Victor replied calmly, because I know where you live and I know who you love. The line went dead. For a moment, neither Daniel nor I spoke. Finally, he whispered, we have to give him the box. No, I said firmly. What? He asked. No, I repeated. We do not reward evil. He could kill someone, Daniel said, panic rising in his voice. He already almost did, I replied, and giving him what he wants will only help him do it again. Daniel stared at me, torn. I'm a grandmother, I continued softly. My job is to protect life, even if it costs me comfort, even if it costs me safety. He looked at me with new eyes then, not as his mother, but as someone stronger than he expected. What do we do? He asked. I took a deep breath. We tell the truth, I said. To the police, to the doctors, to everyone. Daniel hesitated. Victor is powerful. So is truth, I replied. Just then, a nurse rushed toward us. Mr. Carter, she called. Yes, Daniel said quickly. Your son just woke up, she said, but there's something you need to see. My heart jumped. We followed her down the hallway. When we reached Noah's room, I saw him lying still, his eyes open now but unfocused. A doctor stood beside him, holding a small clear bag. Inside the bag was a piece of chocolate. This was found lodged under his tongue, the doctor said. It wasn't swallowed. I stared at it. It was not like the others. It had a tiny crack on the side. And inside that crack, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A small metal piece. Not candy. Not filling. Something else entirely. The doctor looked at us seriously. This was not an accident, he said. And at that moment, I knew one thing for sure. Victor was not done with us yet. The doctor placed the small, clear bag on the table like it was something alive. "That piece," he said slowly, "does not belong in a child's mouth." Daniel stared at it, his lips shaking. "What is it?" The doctor did not answer right away. He turned to a nurse and nodded. She left the room quickly. "I need to ask you some questions," the doctor said. "But first, I must inform security." My heart began to race again. "Is my grandson going to be okay?" I asked, my voice small. "For now, he is stable," the doctor said. "But this situation is no longer just medical." Noah blinked slowly on the bed. His eyes moved toward me. "Grandma," he whispered. I rushed to him and held his hand. "I'm here, my angel. Grandma is here." "My mouth tastes funny," he said. I fought back tears and smiled. "You'll be fine, just rest." Daniel stood frozen, staring at the chocolate piece like it was a snake. "This is my fault," he whispered again. "No," I said firmly. "This is someone else's evil." The nurse returned with two men in dark uniforms, hospital security. They spoke quietly with the doctor, then looked at Daniel and me. "Sir," one of them said, "we need you to come with us to answer some questions." Daniel nodded slowly. "I'm coming too," I said. They did not stop me. We were taken into a small room with gray walls and a single table. It smelled like old paper and coffee. A police officer joined us minutes later. He placed a notebook on the table and looked at us carefully. "Mrs. Carter," he said. "Mr. Carter, we believe this may be a criminal matter." Daniel swallowed. "We know." "Then start from the beginning," the officer said. "Everything." So Daniel told the truth, all of it. The chocolate maker, the mix-up, the warning, the phone call, the crash, the message from Victor. I told my part too. The gift, the sharing, the children, the collapse. The officer's face grew darker with each word. "This man, Victor," he said, "has been on our watch list." Daniel's head snapped up. "You know him?" "Yes," the officer replied. "We believe he helps powerful people hide crimes, money laundering, threats, blackmail." I felt cold all over. "And the chocolates?" I asked. "They are a way to move things without being noticed," the officer said. "Small items, memory cards, metal pieces, data." My knees weakened. "You mean," I whispered, "someone hid secrets inside food?" "Yes," he said, "and your grandson almost swallowed one." Daniel covered his face with his hands. "We need the rest of the box," the officer continued. "Where is it?" "At my house," I replied. "In the fridge." The officer nodded. "We'll send someone." Just then, my phone vibrated again. "Victor." Daniel grabbed my hand. "Don't answer." But the officer held up a finger. "Answer it, put it on speaker." My heart pounded as I pressed the button. "Mrs. Carter," Victor's calm voice filled the room. "I hope your family is feeling better." "You did this," I said, my voice shaking with anger. "You did that," he replied smoothly, "by sharing what was not meant to be shared." "You put metal in candy," I shouted. "You hurt children." "Collateral damage," he said. "Unfortunate but replaceable." Daniel jumped up. "You monster." Victor laughed softly. "Careful, Daniel, you already crashed once today." The officer leaned closer to the phone. "Victor, this is the police. We are aware of your activities." There was a short pause. Then Victor spoke again, slower now. "Then you also know this is bigger than you." "Where are you?" the officer asked. Victor ignored him. "Mrs. Carter," he said, "my patience is ending. I want what is mine." "You'll never get it," I said. "We'll see," he replied, "because I've already sent someone to your house." My breath caught. "What?" I whispered. Victor continued calmly. "Someone who does not like being told no." The officer stood up fast. "Dispatch units now," he ordered. Daniel grabbed my shoulders. "Mom, the house." I thought of my quiet living room, the fridge, the box, the photos on the wall. "You better hurry," Victor said. Because if my man finds the box before the police, I can't promise what he'll do next. The line went dead. The officer rushed out of the room, shouting orders into his radio. Daniel and I stood there, shaking. "My home," I whispered. "My house." Suddenly, another alarm sounded in the hallway. Nurses began moving fast. Voices rose. Footsteps ran. A nurse burst into the room. "Mrs. Carter," she shouted, "your granddaughter." My heart stopped. "What about Olivia?" I cried. "She's gone," the nurse said, breathless. "She's missing from the waiting room." Daniel screamed her name and ran. I followed, my legs weak, my mind blank except for one terrible thought. Victor did not just send someone to my house. He had taken something else. My legs almost gave way when I heard the word missing. "Olivia," I cried, my voice breaking as I ran into the waiting room. "Olivia." The chairs were empty. Her small pink sweater was folded neatly on one seat, like someone had placed it there on purpose. My heart felt like it was being crushed by an invisible hand. Daniel ran from corner to corner, shouting her name, his voice echoing down the long halls. "Olivia, Olivia." Nurses stopped, people stared. A security guard hurried toward us. "Sir, calm down," he said, raising his hands. "My daughter was here," Daniel shouted. "She was right here." The guard spoke into his radio fast. "We have a missing child in the East Wing. Initiate lockdown." Alarms did not sound, but doors began to close automatically. The hospital felt different now, tight, trapped, like a cage. I sank into a chair, my chest burning. "This is my fault," I whispered. "I should never have opened that box." Daniel knelt in front of me, gripping my hands. His eyes were wild with fear. "No," he said firmly. "This is not on you, this is on Victor." A nurse rushed over. "Mrs. Carter," she said gently, "your grandson is asking for you." I looked up. "Noah." "Yes," she said. "He's awake and asking for Grandma." I stood up slowly. My body wanted to go to Noah. My heart wanted to find Olivia. I felt pulled in two directions, like my soul was tearing apart. "Go to him," Daniel said softly. "I'll stay here. I won't leave until we find her." I nodded and followed the nurse, my legs shaking with every step. Noah lay in his bed, pale but awake. His eyes brightened when he saw me. "Grandma," he whispered. I took his hand and kissed his forehead. "I'm here, my brave boy." "Where's Olivia?" he asked. My throat tightened. I forced a smile. She's playing. She'll be back soon." He nodded, trusting me completely. That trust hurt more than anything. "Grandma," he said quietly. "The man told me not to cry." My heart stopped. "What man?" I asked slowly. He looked at the door, then back at me. "The man with the hat." I felt cold. "When did you see him?" I asked. "Before I fell asleep," Noah said. "He came close and said I should keep the chocolate in my mouth. He said it was a game." Tears filled my eyes. "Did he touch you?" I asked gently. Noah shook his head. "No," he smiled, but his smile was scary. I stood up so fast the chair fell over. "There was a man here," I whispered. "In the hospital." I rushed out of the room and nearly collided with Daniel and two police officers. "He saw him," I said breathlessly. "Noah saw the man, a man with a hat. He spoke to him." The officers exchanged sharp looks. "That means he never left the building," one officer said. "We're dealing with an active threat." Daniel's phone rang. "Victor." Daniel looked at me. I nodded. He answered and put it on speaker. "You're enjoying my little puzzle," Victor said calmly. "I told you this was bigger than you." "Where is my daughter?" Daniel screamed. Victor sighed. "She's safe for now." "You took her," I said, my voice shaking with rage. "I borrowed her," Victor replied. "Children are very useful when adults refuse to cooperate." "You will burn for this," Daniel shouted. Victor laughed softly. "I don't burn, Daniel, I collect." "Collect what?" I asked. "Control," he said, And tonight I'm collecting the chocolates. The police are involved, Daniel said. You won't escape. Victor's voice dropped. I already have. The officer leaned close to the phone. Victor, this call is being traced. Good, Victor replied. Then you'll know exactly how late you are. Daniel clenched his fists. If you hurt her. She's not hurt, Victor interrupted. But time is not your friend. What do you want? I asked, my voice calm now in a way that surprised even me. Bring the box, Victor said. All remaining chocolates alone. No, Daniel said. Yes, Victor replied, or the girl does not come home. Silence filled the hallway. I closed my eyes. I will bring it, I said. Mom, Daniel shouted. I opened my eyes and looked at my son. I am her grandmother, I said softly, and this started with me, it ends with me. Victor smiled through his voice. Wise woman. Where? I asked. Your house, he replied, the place where it all began. The call ended. Daniel grabbed my arm. You can't go alone. I won't, I said. The police will be watching, but I will walk in. The officer nodded slowly. We'll set a perimeter. Minutes later, we were moving fast. Sirens low, night dark and heavy around us. When we reached my street, my house looked wrong. The front door was open. The lights were on. And the fridge door was wide open, spilling cold air into the quiet room. An officer whispered, He's been here. I stepped inside slowly. The chocolate box sat on the table. Open. Empty. And then, from the back of the house, I heard a small voice whisper. Grandma. It was Olivia. And before I could move, a shadow stepped out behind her. Victor. Smiling. And holding something small and metal in his hand. My heart jumped into my throat when I saw Olivia. She stood there barefoot on my kitchen floor, her hair messy, her eyes wide and scared. She ran toward me without thinking. Grandma, she cried. I dropped to my knees and wrapped my arms around her so tight I could feel her shaking. I'm here, I whispered over and over. I've got you, I've got you. For a second, I forgot everything else. Then I felt it. Cold metal pressed lightly against my shoulder. Careful, a calm voice said behind me. We don't want accidents. Victor. I slowly lifted my head. He stood tall and relaxed, like this was his living room, not mine. He wore a dark coat and a hat pulled low. His smile was small and neat, not angry, not loud, just sure. Daniel shouted from behind me, Get away from them. Police officers rushed forward, guns raised. Victor raised one hand gently. In the other, he held a small metal device. It looked like a remote or a trigger. Easy, Victor said. One wrong move and this little girl gets very scared. Olivia clutched my dress tighter. Grandma, she whispered. He told me to be quiet. I swallowed hard and forced myself to stay calm. Victor, I said slowly, you have what you want. The chocolates are gone. Let the child go. He tilted his head. You think this was only about chocolates? Yes, I said. You wanted them back. He laughed softly. No, Grandma Ruth, I wanted leverage. Daniel stepped closer. You're surrounded. This ends now. Victor shook his head. No, this ends when I say it ends. The police commander spoke firmly. Victor, put the device down. Victor looked at him and smiled. You know what this is. The officer went silent. My blood ran cold. It's a detonator, Victor said calmly. Not here, somewhere else. Daniel's face drained of color. Where? Victor's eyes met mine. In the hospital, he said. The world stopped. No, I whispered. No, you're lying. Victor shrugged. A small device, very small, near the children's wing. Daniel screamed, You lie. I don't, Victor replied. Ask your doctors, ask your security. The police commander spoke into his radio urgently. His face tightened as he listened. Then he looked up. He's telling the truth, he said quietly. My legs felt weak. Noah, I whispered. My grandson. Victor nodded, and others. I felt anger rise, strong and hot, burning through my fear. You are evil, I said, pure evil. Victor smiled. No, I'm prepared. Olivia looked up at me. Grandma, I'm scared. I held her face gently. Look at me, my love, I'm here. Victor cleared his throat. Time is short. What do you want now? Daniel asked, his voice breaking. Victor's smile faded for the first time. I want safe passage, he said. Out of this house, out of this city. And the device? The officer asked. Victor looked at Olivia. Once I am gone, he said, I will tell you how to disable it. Daniel stepped forward. Take me instead. Victor laughed. You are not valuable enough. I stood up slowly, keeping Olivia behind me. You take me, I said. Daniel turned. Mom, no. Victor studied me for a long moment. You are interesting, he said. Very interesting. I'm old, I said. I don't matter to you, let the child go. Victor smiled again, but this time it did not reach his eyes. On the contrary, he said, you matter very much. He raised the device slightly. One more step, he warned the police, and I press this. The room went deadly still. Then, suddenly, Olivia pulled away from me. No, I shouted. She slipped on the tile, fell forward, and bumped into Victor's leg. The metal device flew from his hand. Time slowed. Daniel lunged. A police officer fired. Victor shouted. The device hit the floor and slid across the room. And at that exact moment, a loud alarm began to scream from every direction. Not from my house. From the hospital. Victor laughed as officers tackled him to the ground. You're too late, he said calmly. The countdown has already started. My phone buzzed violently in my pocket. A message flashed on the screen from an unknown number. 5 minutes. I looked at Daniel, my hands shaking. Noah, I whispered. My heart felt like it was tearing apart when I saw the message. 5 minutes. Daniel grabbed my phone and read it. His face turned white. No, he whispered. No, no, no. Police officers dragged Victor up from the floor, his hands cuffed behind his back. He was still smiling, still calm, like a man watching a show he already knew the ending of. You said you would stop it, I shouted at him. You said you would tell them how. I said I would tell them once I was gone, Victor replied softly. I am not gone yet. The police commander rushed forward. Where is the device? Victor tilted his head. If I tell you, will you let me walk? No, the officer said firmly. Victor sighed. Then you have 4 minutes. Daniel lost control. He grabbed Victor by the collar. My son is in that hospital. Victor looked at him without fear. Then you should hurry. The officers pulled Daniel back. Take him away, the commander ordered. Now. Victor was dragged out of the house, still smiling, still calm, like none of this mattered. As soon as he was gone, the commander spoke fast into his radio. Evacuate the children's wing immediately. Bomb squad, move now. Daniel turned to me, panic filling his eyes. We have to go, he said. We have to get to Noah. Olivia clung to my hand. Grandma, I don't want to go back there. I knelt in front of her and held her face. You are brave. You are safe now. Stay with the officers. Grandma will come back. I don't want you to leave, she cried. I will come back, I promised. I always do. A policewoman took Olivia gently. She was crying, but she did not fight. Daniel and I ran to the car. Sirens screamed as we sped through the night. The city lights blurred past us like tears we did not have time to cry. Why would he do this? Daniel shouted, gripping the steering wheel. Why? Because he thinks people are things, I replied, and things can be used. My phone buzzed again. 4 minutes. Then again. 3 minutes. We reached the hospital entrance. Chaos filled the air. Nurses rushed children in beds. Parents cried. Alarms rang. Security shouted orders. Children's wing is being cleared, someone yelled. Daniel and I ran inside. Noah, I shouted. Noah Carter. A nurse stopped us. You can't go in there. That's my grandson, I screamed. The nurse hesitated, then pointed down the hall. Room 312, hurry. We ran. The hallway felt endless. My chest burned, my legs ached, but I did not stop. Daniel burst into the room first. Noah lay in bed, awake, scared, his small hands gripping the sheets. Daddy, he cried. Daniel rushed to him and lifted him gently. I've got you, he said, his voice breaking. I've got you. I looked around the room, my eyes sharp, searching. Where is it? I whispered. My phone buzzed again. 2 minutes. I noticed a small blinking light under the bed. Red. Slow. Blink, blink. There, I said, my voice shaking. Daniel froze. What do we do? He asked. I knelt down slowly and looked closer. A small black device was taped to the metal frame. A timer. Numbers counting down. 01:32. I felt cold all over. I don't know, I whispered. I don't know. A voice shouted from the hallway. Bomb squad. 2 men rushed in with heavy gear. Step back, one of them ordered. Daniel held Noah tight and moved away. I stayed frozen, watching. Can you stop it? I asked. The man did not answer. He stared at the device. 01:05. Sweat ran down his face. Ma'am, he said quietly, we need more time. My heart dropped. My phone buzzed again. 1 minute. Daniel looked at me, terror in his eyes. I can't lose him, he whispered. I stepped forward before anyone could stop me. I am his grandmother, I said. Tell me what to do. The man looked at me sharply. If you touch it wrong, it explodes. I understand, I said calmly, though my whole body shook. He hesitated, then pointed. 2 wires, he said, red and blue. I leaned closer. The timer showed 00:30. Which one? I asked. He swallowed hard. I don't know, he said. Daniel cried out, there has to be a way. I closed my eyes for 1 second. I thought of my quiet house, my garden, my son as a little boy, my grandchildren laughing. I thought of life. Then I opened my eyes. 00:10. I reached out my hand. My fingers hovered over the wires. Red. Blue. The numbers blinked faster now. 00:09. 00:08. The room was silent, except for the beeping and Noah's soft crying against his father's chest. Grandma, he whispered, I'm scared. I looked at him and smiled, even though my heart felt like it was breaking. I know, my love, I said gently, but Grandma is right here. The bomb officer whispered, Ma'am, if you're wrong. I know, I said. 00:06. I took a deep breath and thought of one thing Daniel once told me when he was a boy. Mama, he had said after breaking a toy, the red wire is always for power, blue is for control. I did not know if that was true here, but I knew one thing. Victor loved control. He loved timers, fear, waiting. People like him never trusted simple power. They trusted control. 00:04. I love you, Daniel whispered to me. I smiled at my son. I know. 00:03. I reached out and cut the blue wire. The beeping stopped. Silence. For one long second, nothing happened. Then the red light went dark. The device went dead. No explosion. No sound. Just quiet. Daniel collapsed to his knees, holding Noah and crying openly. The bomb officer let out a breath so loud it sounded like a sob. It's disarmed, he said. It's over. My legs finally gave out, and I sat on the floor. A nurse rushed in. Police shouted orders. People moved everywhere. But all I could hear was Noah's voice. "Grandma," he said softly, "you saved me." I pulled him close. "No, my angel, love did." Hours later, the hospital was calm again. Victor was taken away in handcuffs. The evidence hidden in the chocolates exposed more crimes than anyone expected. Powerful people fell. Secrets came out. The truth finally spoke. Mary recovered, slowly but fully. She cried when she held me and said sorry again and again. I hugged her and said nothing. Some lessons do not need words. Daniel changed. He calls every day now. He listens. He tells the truth even when it is hard. Olivia sleeps holding my hand whenever she visits. Noah calls me my hero grandma, even when I tell him I am just old and tired. And the chocolate box. It is gone. But the lesson remains. Never hide the truth to keep peace. Never choose silence over safety. And never forget that love, real love, protects even when fear tries to win. Because sometimes, a grandmother is not just a grandmother. Sometimes, she is the last line between danger and life.